If you've never replaced a toilet seat before, maybe that's why you're watching this video. But we've got to get this off. And here's the back side of the toilet seat. And they've got these little goodies here. Now some have caps. This is a little cap. And you've got to, there's a screw head in there. You can't just unscrew the nut underneath here, underneath the toilet bowl, without undoing this cap. And sometimes you may think they don't come off because maybe you can't get it with your fingers. Now with my fingernail I can pop that off and pull that up, and there's a screw in there, plastic screw. Now if you can't pull that up with your fingernail, you know, like that, just take yourself a little screwdriver and fish around in there and pop it open, okay? That's the first major hurdle. Now I already looked underneath the toilet, and there's a plastic nut with a little tab on the back side of this. So when I unscrew this, that tab hits on the side and it stops. So I shouldn't have to do anything but just unscrew it right from here, because that nut is stationary on the back side. Now if you have a metal head right there, look underneath your toilet, you might have a metal nut, you know, and then you may have to hold that nut. You know, get yourself a little crescent wrench like that, or if you call it a spanner wrench, or you could have some little pliers like this. You know, then you're going to want to hold on to that nut underneath the toilet bowl as you're unscrewing this a little bit, because maybe you try to loosen that up and maybe it's just twisting the nut from underneath. So I mean, it's not rocket science here, so you can do it. I know you can get this off. See, here's the nut and the little plastic bolt that it came with. This is on the old toilet, and see this thing here, this was underneath the toilet bowl, and see it's only got one little wing on there. And what that does is it turns, and then it hits the side of the toilet, then it can't turn anymore. So that when you go to tighten this up, it's going to stop, and then you don't have to hold that, and you can tighten that all the way down. When you're taking it off, you unscrew it a little bit, this goes over like that, and then it stops, and then you can unscrew that, and voila, it comes off. Now if yours doesn't have that, like I say, it might have a metal nut or something like that, but you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. I've got both of those bolts out of there. Now I can kind of pop this out of place. Just if it's stuck on there, your toilet seat might be on there for 10-15 years, just kind of loosen it a little bit on the back side. It might have some sticky stuff on it or whatever, but it'll come off. Look at that! You're doing it yourself. Just wipe around the bolts, get it nice and clean, you know, before we put the new toilet seat on. Okay? Alrighty. If you got any little residue around here, take a putty knife to it, kind of scrape on it or whatever, clean it off, scour it off, whatever you got to do, because you don't want to see any remnants, because maybe the toilet seat you have, maybe it's got a different trim piece that's going to fit on here, and you don't want any of the old marks showing up beyond that, okay? The trick here, it's not a trick, but every time you do something on your own and you replace something or whatever, you want to make it so that it looks like when you're done that nobody ever touched the toilet or whatever you're working on, okay? That's what you got to try to get into. No matter what you do, when you get done, you don't want to see any of it. You don't want someone coming around saying, oh yeah, it looks like you fixed it. Yeah, I see the mark here, and I see this, and I see that. So that's what we're trying to achieve here, to make it look like it was never replaced.